Welcome to our virtual Hope for the Holidays support group at Heart and Home. I'm Mandy. I'm a social worker out of the Lapine office.
And I'm Felicia Comfort. I'm a social worker out of the Bend office.
For our goals today for these groups, we're going to provide educational information on the grieving process. We're going to assist people in developing coping and adapting skills in dealing with loss. The first 5 videos will be up to 15 minutes long. There will be no fee charged to stream the videos, and qualified Heart and Home staff will facilitate the group meeting. So, today we're going to start off our first session with holidays, anniversaries, and special dates remembered. Holidays and other important occasions are some of the most difficult days in grief, especially during the first year or two. Today, we're going to be talking about ways to manage the hard times these special days bring to our lives. Holidays and grief are hard for a couple reasons. First, holidays are filled with sentiment. We are bombarded by sights, sounds, and smells of the holiday. These clues tell us in unmistakable terms the holidays are here.
In the second place, holidays remind us of the relationships we've had. Whether the relationship with our loved one was good, bad, or sometimes just a mixture of many different emotions, they collide with the reality that we are now alone. We're without them. While families gather for celebration, we realize that our family now feels very incomplete. Some have not celebrated a birthday in many years without this person, or a holiday without this person. Holidays are all about relationships, and we have said goodbye to a very important person.
Thank you. So today, Felicia and I are going to go over handling the holidays and other special days. We're going to go over 10 sections here, and we'll talk through each one and things that you might be able to do to help you through these holidays and special days. So the first one is identify your holidays and special days. So there's all sorts of different days or holidays that might be special to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not all of us do. For everybody, those holidays looked different when the loved one was here than how our holiday is going to look now. And sometimes for some of us, due to cultural reasons, relationship reasons, just how our life is, the holidays are just different for each of us. So for some people, religious wise, maybe they don't celebrate Christmas, they celebrate Hanukkah. And so, when we say holidays, it's really so many types of holidays are included in that. And it's just hard to have a holiday come up and for us to be able to experience that without our loved one. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very emotionally charged time for people. And even for people who aren't experiencing the loss of someone this holiday, but holidays bring up for us losses from our past, from people that are no longer here, mm-hmm. Not even including just maybe a new person who you've lost in your life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And because everybody's special days and holidays are different, it's not set in stone. We don't all follow the same thing. It can be helpful for you to mark these days on your calendar. What days do you anticipate will be difficult for you, hard for you? There can be like an anniversary of a first date. That might be a special day that you or I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, get out your calendar and mark down what days are going to be difficult, or you think they might be difficult for you, so you can prepare. And as we go through these, we'll talk about ways that you can prepare.
Mm-hmm. And it's really important, like what Mandy was saying, to start to think about in the days, weeks, months ahead of what could be triggering holidays, dates for you, so that you can make a plan for yourself, mm-hmm. so that you can help that day be the best that it can be, and that you have supports in place, and that maybe you decide you're not going to celebrate a particular holiday because it's just not going to be good for you to do, and that's okay. And letting people know that you're not going to, but also then what are you going to do that day? How are you going to take care of yourself that day? Because I think that's what people get really just throws people off, is when they didn't think that this would a particular day would be really hard, and then they find out when that day comes, oh my goodness. And so when you plan ahead, you can start to kind of help prepare yourself for that. Absolutely. And I often talk with my bereaved family members about that.
Absolutely. And that ties in great to number 2. Decide what you can handle comfortably and let these needs be known to your family, friends, and relatives ahead of time. It's not only is it important for you to have a plan, but make sure those closest to you know what your plan is, because otherwise they might be shocked or surprised that you don't want to celebrate a day, or that they might not realize a special date that's coming up and that it would be difficult for you.
Yeah, and I think the more that we're able to be open with our loved ones about how we're feeling, and maybe just saying, I don't know how I'm gonna feel, that's okay too. But the more that you're able to do that, then people can support you around that. And it's hard when there are expectations maybe placed upon each other or placed upon you that you feel like you have to do something. And I guess we just really want to encourage you that you don't have to do something. It's really important for your own self-care in these times to really acknowledge your feelings, and to know that you can place limits and boundaries around that.
And things change. You might say today, I think I can handle helping prepare Thanksgiving dinner. But then the day before or the day of, you realize, I can't do this.
Absolutely.
And it's okay for things to change. Nothing is set in stone.
Nothing is set in stone. That's a good point, Mandy.
And as you're talking to your families, make sure that they know what you feel like you can, ties into what we're talking about, like what can you commit to. Make sure you're transparent with them, or friends, or this can also be a time to say to people, I don't think I'm going to be doing well. Could we hang out this day?
Yeah, ask for that. And it's hard because people want to help, but they don't know how to help. And so when you're able to kind of give them that heads up of where you're at, then they can also be more helpful to you and giving you that space sometimes. So
absolutely. And this might be a time that you maintain traditions, you develop new traditions. Maybe you go out of town for a specific holiday instead of staying in town. Maybe you do something that you always wanted to do, but you never had the chance, or maybe it's really important that you maintain traditions. And you can even do a combination. There's no right way or wrong way to do this.
There's really not. I've had families that I've worked with after someone has passed, and Mother's and Father's Day being really fueled for them emotionally, that they just really felt like they could not handle those days, and that's okay in that moment. And then as time goes on, what I found is that particular family member, we had talked about creating what that's going to look like going forward for their own young family, and them starting to get a little more excited, and that changing for them because they realize that they can make those changes. Nothing has to stay as it was. You can take traditions from a holiday and bring certain things forward to a new holiday kind of celebration.
Yep. And that really ties into the next one, express your feelings. It might feel weird to share with your family member or friend that you want to do something different, but it can be very liberating to do something new, do something different, to set limits and remind yourself of those limits. There's the only way through grief is to feel it.
Yeah, you really have to embrace it and walk through it to be able to get to the other side of it. And it's a journey, and it's a journey that you can do with people, but there are just times you have to do it your way and in your time.
Yeah.
So it's very true.
Yeah. So a list can be helpful in these holiday planning that you're doing, and it can change, but sometimes this list is helpful so you have something concrete that you can go to. And you could have things on this list like, this is what I think I should do, but this is what I really want to do, and weigh them out against each other, and this is again something your person that you're close to, a family member or a friend that you feel like could support you, you could share this list with them.
Yeah, and it's important to have those people identified in your life that you are able to be honest and authentic with about where you're at and how you are feeling, so that you are able to feel like you're not alone in this process.
Absolutely. We've kind of hit on number 5 already. Don't be afraid to make changes, but just to reiterate, it's okay to make changes. You can have dinner at a different time. You could do something new. You can involve different people in your celebration. This can be a time to craft something new that you have always wanted to.
I've had families that have decided to take a vacation and just not be in their home during a holiday because they felt like that would be the most healthy way for them to experience the holiday. And it was in a positive way. It wasn't to avoid, because it's important to not avoid. It really is important to try and create something new for you, that may not be how it is a year from now, but that is taking care of you right now.
Absolutely. And that kind of ties into something else that sometimes people do is they donate their time. They give the gift of service because that can be comforting to help others. Maybe somebody, who's experiencing what you're experiencing, or maybe a completely different thing that you can help with. There's lots of places that need volunteers. You can even donate something in memory of your loved one. You can donate money in memory of your loved one.
Yeah, it's a good feeling when you're able to feel like, because sometimes you just feel like you can't do anything, and in reality, you really can. And there's people that are in need or hurting that can really help you as well to help them. So it is a really nice thing. And that could be with changing up the holiday. Maybe instead of having Thanksgiving at your house, you work at a soup kitchen and you are feeding others. I've had people do all different ways to celebrate.
Absolutely. And this, as we're talking about this is all about number 7, being intentional about how you plan your holiday. Do I really enjoy this? Do I really want to do this? If you do, that's okay. But is it done out of habit, or is there something else that you've always wanted to do? How can you take this energy from your grief and channel it into something positive, like volunteering at the soup kitchen, or going out of town, maybe someplace that you and your person you're missing always wanted to go?
Yeah, it's super important to just try and, because it is so emotionally charged, to, as much as you can, take the stress out of that holiday so that you are just able to have it be what kind of a day you need for it to be for yourself.
Something else that can be helpful depending on your relationship with the person that is gone is recognizing your loved one's presence in the family. So this can look, depending on the holiday, depending on the event you're celebrating, it might look like a chair at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It might look like a candle. It could be a picture. It could be sharing a story, something to acknowledge your loved one and their presence, and that you miss them or it's different without them.
Yeah, it can be very powerful to do something in honor of a loved one who's not able to be, let's say, at a wedding. Putting a picture up at the table where they would be sitting. Something that is able to recognize them. I've had family members put a picture of their loved one at the head of the table where that person would have been sitting for Thanksgiving.
That's a great idea.
So to just feel like he was there. So,
and holidays are stressful enough anyways without this going on, without your grief being there. So it's important to strive for a balanced lifestyle. So any time during the holidays we tend to overindulge, like eat a lot of sweets, eat a lot of food, a lot of turkey, a lot of ham, a lot of anything. So make sure that you take care of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally. Taking care of yourself can look like taking a nap.
Yeah.
It could be taking a bath. It could be, setting exercise as a priority.
And I think keeping to your routine is really an important thing in the holiday time due to that stress. Just like, eating well, for some people, holidays can bring about celebrating with spirits and alcohol. And that may not be a great thing for you to do. And it's something that, being able to keep that routine of going to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time, kind of knowing what you're going to do in your day so that you know what your purpose is each day. I think that's just good when we're really grieving overall. But during the holidays, it is a whole nother layer of stress. And it's, we know it's stressful when we haven't lost a loved one. So it's even more stressful when we have lost someone, and emotions are really challenged. So
those are great suggestions, of avoiding too much alcohol and sugar. Maybe you don't have any alcohol, allowing flexibility for yourself, and on days that are good, have an idea of what you want to accomplish. Do you need to get some shopping done? Do you need to, make a dish ahead of time? And when days are bad, what do you do to get through those bad days? What do you need for self-care?
Yeah, I think that's so true. And less is more during this time. I think it's really important to keep life more simple, and to be okay to let others do for you, and let others maybe do the holiday meal, and maybe you contribute to that, but it's really being thoughtful of how much energy is being put out, because grief takes so much energy. So as Mandy was saying, taking a nap, maybe you aren't someone who takes a nap, but we're giving you the recommendation and the okay to go ahead and take that nap. And sometimes people need that.
Yep.
So
it's okay.
It's okay.
So, like we've talked about, holidays and other special days can often magnify this grief, this feeling of loss. Pushing your sadness aside, even though it's tempting sometimes, and there might be moments where you have to, it doesn't make it go away. We would encourage you to share your feelings that come up at this time. And it's okay to cry. Your tears may give other family members permission to share their feelings. So even though there's sad times, there might be happy times, happy memories that are part of the holidays that you share as well.
Yeah, for some people, the holidays will be easier than in the past. If that is true for you, don't feel guilty or disloyal about your relief. We all have seasons in our lives that that are up and down, and it's just important to know that you have the right to all the enjoyment that the season offers. Be grateful for the good memories that you do have, and share them. You don't have to pretend that you're sad if you're not. Really be authentic to yourself and how you are experiencing what's happening.
That's right.
Laughter and joy are not disrespectful.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes, just as tears can help people to share their memories or share their own tears, that can also help people to share laughter and joy with you. And they may be holding back some of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's okay to give yourself, your family members, permission to celebrate and take pleasure in the holidays. Often that's what our loved ones would want us to do, is to focus on those positive and to just share those memories with each other.
Mm-hmm. And as you gear up for the holidays, something important to keep in mind, like anticipating what's coming up, is that post-holiday slump. So we have this time where we might be around a lot of people, a lot of events, a lot of things happening, a lot of things going. And with that post-holiday slump, celebrations are gone. Family and friends might have gone back to another state, or they've gone back to work. This might leave you feeling sad. It might leave you feeling relief. Whatever your experience is, be gentle with yourself and offer yourself grace. And keep in mind that the experience of many bereaved is that they do come to enjoy the holidays again.
Yeah. And as we approach the holidays and just special days that we've experienced with loved ones, remember that grief is a necessity, and also it's a privilege. It comes from giving and receiving love from people and loved ones in our lives. It's so important for you to be patient, gentle, and loving with yourself during this time. I don't think I can stress that enough, because often we have expectations of ourselves, of how we should be doing, how we should be doing for others. And this, again, is a season in your life where it may not be possible, and that's really okay. It's important to surround yourself with people that you love and that you care about and who feel that way about you. And again, keeping it simple. I also feel like that's super important to just really stress to everybody, is to do not feel like you need to do a list of 25 things a day. Mm-hmm. It's not achievable.
Yeah. Keep it simple and one moment at a time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us for our very first session. We hope that this has been helpful for you, and we just appreciate your time.